The diplomatic chamber aboard Station Kepler 442b hummed with the low-frequency vibrations that kept the VRWAN comfortable. Ambassador Thelmore stretched his four elongated fingers across the negotiation table, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the UV-filtered lights. Across from him sat Commander Rachel Kovacs, humanity's representative in the Outer Rim territories. "Your species doesn't understand the gravity of violating VRWAN and trade routes," Thelmore clicked, his mandibles spreading in what his species considered a gesture of authority. "You Deathworlders stumble through the cosmos like children who found their parents' plasma cutter." Rachel remained still, her dark eyes fixed on the ambassador. Earth, the death world in question, had produced humans through 3.8 billion years of ruthless evolutionary pressure. 200,000-year-old persistence hunters who'd climbed to the top of a food chain that actively tried to kill them. The galaxy's other sentient species had evolved on gentler worlds, where cooperation trumped competition, where gravity didn't crush, and where the atmosphere didn't corrode. "Ambassador, the Terran Confederation simply requests equal access to..." Thelmore's patience snapped. He lunged forward with surprising speed for a VRYN, his primary manipulator closing around Rachel's throat. On his homeworld, where atmospheric pressure barely registered and gravity measured 0.3 g, this gesture of dominance would send any subordinate into immediate submission. The VRYN had evolved as ambush predators in low-density environments, their nervous systems optimized for quick strikes in forgiving conditions. What Thelmore failed to account for was the fundamental difference in physiology. Rachel's neck muscles, designed to support a skull in 1g gravity and protect a brainstem that regulated a cardiovascular system pumping blood upward against constant gravitational pull, barely registered the pressure. Her carotid arteries sat deep beneath layers of sternocleidomastoid muscle that could anchor her head through violent acceleration. Her trachea, reinforced with cartilaginous rings that kept airways open even when a human was upside down or being tackled by a predator, didn't collapse. She didn't even blink. "Release me, Ambassador," Rachel said calmly, her voice box functioning perfectly despite his grip. "This is your only warning." Thelmore's compound eyes widened. His grip tightened, or what passed for tightening with his species' limited crushing strength. On his world, conflicts resolved through displays and submission. Physical confrontation rarely escalated beyond the initial dominance gesture. Evolution hadn't prepared the VRYN for prolonged combat. Earth had prepared humans for nothing else. Rachel's left hand moved with the precision of a species that had manufactured tools for 3.4 million years. She gripped Thelmore's manipulator at the joint where his exoskeleton naturally articulated. Her right hand, meanwhile, reached across and placed 2 fingers on the ambassador's neck, if the thin membrane connecting his head to his thorax could be called that. "You have 5 minutes to release me and apologize," Rachel stated, activating her neural implant to timestamp the moment. "After that, I will interpret this as a lethal threat and respond accordingly under Terran Confederation self-defense protocols." Thelmore's translator struggled with the calmness in her voice. How could a creature speak so evenly with its airway compromised? His species would have already lost consciousness from the panic response alone. He maintained his grip, certain that his position as ambassador granted him immunity, certain that this Deathworlder was bluffing. For minutes and 30 seconds later, Commander Kovacs had run through 17 different diplomatic resolutions in her augmented cognitive processor. She'd transmitted emergency protocols to the Terran security detail. She'd calculated the exact amount of force required to neutralize a VRYN threat without causing permanent damage. At exactly 5 minutes, when Thelmore's grip remained fixed around her neck, Rachel's assessment shifted. Her threat evaluation algorithms reclassified the situation from diplomatic incident to active assault by foreign power. The movement took 0.3 seconds. Her left hand rotated Thelmore's manipulator counterclockwise while her right hand applied 47 newtons of force to the membrane connecting his head to his body. The VRYN exoskeleton, evolved in low-gravity conditions, shattered with a sound like breaking ceramic. Thelmore's body collapsed onto the negotiation table, his neural cluster severed instantly. Rachel stood, removing his now limp manipulator from her throat. She pressed her comm badge. Security, this is Commander Kovacs. Ambassador Thelmore attempted lethal force against a Terran representative. I responded per protocol. Send medical and documentation teams to Conference Room 7. She looked down at the VRWN ambassador's body, her expression neutral. The galaxy was still learning what 3 billion years of survival on a death world actually meant. They kept mistaking human restraint for weakness. They wouldn't make that mistake with the VRWN twice.